Have you ever made the decision so fast that you didn't even have time to doubt yourself? That's exactly how I became a truck driver. No plan, no experience, just pure why not energy. So guess what? It only cost me $257 to completely change my future. And hey, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lida, the trucker lady who turned into dispatcher and fleet manager and now the owner of multi-seven-figure freight brokerage agency. But before all of this, I was just a girl who just moved to America in 2015. No idea what I'm gonna do with my life. So let me go back and tell you the story how I became a truck driver and how it completely changed my life. So as I mentioned, in 2015 December, I moved to America with no job, no connections, nothing. I was just sitting at home every day trying to figure things out. My ex-husband, he was a truck driver, always on the road, and I was stuck at home with nothing to do, trying to find a job. Then I met my next door neighbor, and she was a truck driver and she was driving with her husband. But before, she was just driving solo. And when she met her husband, she convinced him to become a truck driver. So she told me, why don't you get your CDL while you are just sitting at home? And I was like, wait, can I do that? And she laughed and said, yes, of course. Just go to DMV, get the CDL manual and start studying. And I thought about it for like 10 seconds and say, you know what, why not? The next day, I walked straight into the DMV, grabbed the CDL manual and locked myself in my room studying for 2 days. After reading the CDL manual, highlighting, repeating all of this terminology and stuff, I went and I passed all 3 tests in the first trial and I got my permit. Now I could go and drive with someone who already has a CDL. So that's exactly what I did. So I studied like a mad woman for 2 straight days, morning till night. I was memorizing everything, going through the air brake section, learning pre-trip inspection and all of it. After 2 days, I walked into DMV feeling like I had nothing to lose. I took the test and passed. First try, just like that, I had my permit. And let me remind you, I had never even been inside a semi-truck before this. And when you get permit, you can drive with someone who already has a CDL. So that's when I realized knowing the answers on test is one thing, actually driving a truck will be absolutely different story. So I'm gonna tell you how I started to drive and how I learned and how I also learned how to do pre-trip inspection. Now, passing a written test is one thing, as I said. Actually driving a semi-truck, a whole different story. I had no training, no trucking school. I just hopped in a truck and started figuring out with my back then ex-husband. The first time I had to back up a semi, oh my goodness, it was a nightmare. I couldn't change the gears, I didn't know what I'm doing, but I kept doing it between unloadings. And every single day I was practicing. I was learning the brakes, right? I was doing the pre-trip inspection. I was watching lots of YouTube videos like this. So let's be real, I was scared, but I refused to quit. And finally, it was a time to take my CDL test. I scheduled the appointment ahead of time and I had to pay $257. So here it got crazy. So I had to take my CDL test in St. Petersburg, Florida. And if you don't know, those roads are very tight. And get this, I was supposed to take the test with 48 feet trailer, but the only one we had was 53 footer, right? I looked at this instructor like, so are we really doing this? And he just like, yeah, let's go. Every turn was a struggle, but I had studied my pre-trip inspection like my life depended on it, so I answered every single question that he had perfectly. Every turn was a struggle, but I had studied my pre-trip inspection like my life depended on it. So I remembered every question perfectly, and somehow, despite the odds, I passed, and total cost $7 for permits, $250 for the road test, so $257 that changed my entire life. That's how I got into logistics. I had my CDL. I was officially a truck driver, professional truck driver, but I didn't stop here. After I got, learning and stuff, I decided to, just stay home, have my kids, and then we opened the trucking company, dispatching. I was a fleet manager, so this every experience that brought me here, and eventually I became a freight broker. So this is my journey, how to become a successful business owner in logistics. It started from truck driving and ended up in freight brokerage. So this is a perfect example, so that you don't need a perfect plan, you just need a start. And that is what I want to take from this story. Sometimes you just don't need the perfect plan, you just need to start. And if you are sitting on an opportunity right now, so driving was great, but I wanted more. So I started learning about freight brokering, right, and dispatching, and over time I built my freight broker agency, and now I help companies and another aspired logistics professionals how to land direct shippers, multi-million-dollar contracts, and build their brand on LinkedIn. The crazy part, I never planned for any of this, just took the first step, kept learning, and kept pushing forward. And that's what I want you to take from this story. Sometimes you don't need the perfect plan, you just need to start. So if you are sitting on an opportunity right now, whether it is tracking, dispatching, fleet management, or anything else, stop overthinking. You just need to start. You will figure out along the way, just like I did. And if you are already in logistics but struggling to grow your business, I can definitely help. I train freight brokers, owner-operators, tracking companies, and logistics professionals how to land direct shippers, scale their businesses, and dominate in LinkedIn. And if you ever taken a crazy leap of faith in your career, drop a comment. I want to hear your stories. And if you want to work with me directly, check the links in the description or comment me, hit that subscribe button, because I'm sharing everything I have learned about tracking, logistics, growing a 7-figure business in the last 9 years. So now that you learned how I got my CDL, watch this video to see how I made over 7K in commission in 1 week as a freight broker agent. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.